All right. Welcome to the workshop. We'll be kickstarting now. Welcome to the workshop. To everyone that is here, I want us to get maximum value from the workshop, and I hope the past 2 days has been informative for us, and it has helped us as designers. All right. So let's get started. We'll be starting now. Okay, so I hope we are with our laptops, right? I wanted us to come with our gadget, all right, so that we can follow and practice, right? So it's one thing to know a skill, it's another thing to be able to practice what you know. All right, so this workshop has been happening for 3 days now. This is the third day workshop. All right, so um we'll be kickstarting now. So, like I said before, I was trying to introduce a subtopic. So I'm gonna be opening my screen now. All right. So let's get our notes. Okay. So all right. So we'll be going now to what we have for the class. All right. So if you have been following the class, we've been explaining user interface. We've been talking on user experience for a while. So I've been able to help us understand the concept of user interface and no user experience for a while. Yes. So we've been able to talk on user experience, what it entails, how to go about it, and how to navigate through the whole concept there. All right. So I'll be talking on user experience. We've explained what it means for a user, for it to be useful, for it to be desirable, for it to be accessible, credible, findable, usable, and valuable. So these are the 7 components of your user experience, basically. All right. So we'll be going basically to the next thing. All right. So we'll be going basically to. All right. So I will be showing my screen now so that everybody can follow. All right. Perfect. So we're going to be talking on the 5 dimension of user experience. Basically, this has to be the 5 dimension of what user interface is basically all about. So whenever you hear the word user interface, this is what it basically is all about. So when you hear what user interface is all about, so this makes this makes up for the concept of user interface. All right, so user interface also, like I said before, we're going to be talking on in user interaction, and also going to be talking on user interaction is one. Then we're also going to be talking on user responsiveness. All right. So for the user experience, like I said before, user experience makes up the experience a user gets while using a product. So now what the experience the user is having while using a product. Does the user like the product? What is the basic what is the basic feature is enjoying using that product? So we were able to explain that design has to do with what is appealing to the eyes. Experience has to do with the feeling the user is getting using the product. Now, when we talk about 5 dimension of user experience, what we're basically talking about is okay, now looking at, we talk about component. Now, dimension now has to take it in recognizance to The like I said before, your user experience basically is tied to the user interface. So when you say user experience, it's basically tied to the user interface. Like I said before, the experience a user will get using a product is tied to the visual appealing design it sees. Whenever you are designing and you're using a red color, or you're using more red, and red is your main primary color, there's an appeal it gives to your design. And then that appeal to your design affects the interaction the user gets using the product. All right, so let's get started. Now, user interaction design pays attention to five dimensions. One is words, the other is image, space, time, and behavior. I'm going to explain them. So, whenever you see a design, what has to do with text? So, the first thing you're going to take note is the text, because the text is the main component. So, a user would always want to come, and the next thing he sees is your write up. How big is your write up? Is it legible? Is your text big? Is your text and amazing? Is your text very legible for it to be used? Another thing is your image. Is your image well crafted? Is it well fitted? Does your image tell the story of the app? It's one thing to use a lot of image, another thing for you to use the image that tells the story of what the app is. And also when you talk about the concept of space, space has to do with, whenever you are designing, there is a concept of space. Spacing plays a role in so that your texts are not jam packed. So it's more like giving it spacing and then constantly maintaining the spacing. Like if you look at the presentation I'm showing, there's spacing. Now, when it comes to time, time has to do with for every transaction you want to run on an application, it is time based. So let's say you want to transfer money to a friend and you're using a bank app. If you click on the friend and you put in the amount and you want to pay and you delay to put in your PIN, let's say you delay for 2 to 3, 4 minutes before you carry out that action, that action will not be successful. Most times you see that the bank app will have to cancel the transaction. So everything is time based, and then behavior has to do with the interaction of the app. Like I said, the goal of interaction design is to create simplified experience for the user that require as little information as possible. Right. So we've spoken on the 7 pillars of user experience. Now, what are the importance of user experience? You might ask. The first importance is it tries to fulfill the user what needs. All right. The second one is now when you say the user needs has to do with the user experience while using a product and then designing basically for the user need, right? So it's basically you taking in cognizance, okay, the user might need this certain thing. So you design for them. Now that is one thing about user experience is we design to make it very possible for our user to use something. So your user is the main market. Your user is the main person you are designing it for. So you are designing basically for your user. It's not for you. So when we talk about the word designing for your user, it is not basically for you. So you are designing in interest to your user. All right. So that would help shape what you are doing. Okay. So the second one is it helps users to stay loyal to your brand. Right. So when we say loyalty is somebody stays loyal to your brand when he has consistently gained so much value while using your product, right? So when you say somebody is loyal to you, the person is only loyal because over time you have been able to provide quality value for them. So quality value they've gotten over time has helped them stay loyal to your product. So when you talk about loyalty, loyalty is okay, this guy is loyal, this one is loyal. Now they're basically loyal. Basically, they are only loyal because of the value they have been able to get. while using your product. All right. So value provided keeps them loyal. Then we'll talk about a meaningful experience allows you to. So whenever a user has quality experience using a product, it helps the customer journey. So you know what the customer journey is, the customer, when you hear the word customer journey, basically is a journey the user makes on the app. So in other words, if a user wants to make payment on an application, he's doing a customer journey. If a user wants to buy airtime on an application, he's doing a customer journey. So customer journey basically is the journey a user makes while using an application. All right. So we're also going to be doing some designs now. So I'm going to be touching some elements of design. So I'm going to be opening our Figma file. Remember in the last workshop, we were able to create toggle button where I explained some basic components. Please, this is the third workshop. So I will advise you go and check our two past workshop. I will also try to make sure the video links are made available for us so that we can go through. All right, so I'm gonna be doing something basic now. So the last workshop we created toggle button. Now I'm gonna be working on doing something that has to do with the drag. So it has to do with volume. Whenever you want to drag something and increase the volume and drop down. So it's more like the volume interaction, volume. Whenever you see it, you think just volume. So volume interaction. But before we touch volume interaction, let's play around splash screen animation. All right. So let's go. So let me do something. So we're going to be designing splash screen animation. So before we get there, let's create a shape. So I'm going to create a rectangle. So please follow me. All right. So I'm going to be doing a splash screen animation. Remember I told us the shortcut for a rectangle is R, right? Okay. So I'm going to pick a color now. So we're going to give it a color. I want it to have two colors. So whenever you want something to have two colors, you can come and give it a linear gradient, right? I think this was explained in the last class. All right, perfect. Okay, so this two is perfect for me. Then I'm going to do something as well. So I'm going to create a frame. So it's going to be a frame, a smaller frame. F is a shortcut. All right, so I'm going to write splash. So I'm going to write inside it splash. All right, so it's going to stay here. So I'm going to find ways. All right, so looking on how we can increase the size. Okay, so let's just zoom. All right, so let's reduce this a bit. All right, so I'm gonna adjust this to this angle. All right, so okay. All right, so okay, so let's reduce this a bit as well. All right, so basically what we're going to be doing is what I call splash screen animation. So I'm going to come to this frame. I'm going to off the fill. So let's off the fill. It's still a frame, but let's off the fill. So we're going to be doing splash screen animation. All right, so let's make this small. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a frame. So let me use iPhone 8. All right, so let's reduce this a bit. All right, so I'm gonna be working with this. All right, so okay, this is perfect. So I'm gonna give this guy here, I'm gonna move him inside. Please follow me. So we're trying to create splash screen animation. All right, so when we do this, so this, please remember we're trying to create a splash screen animation here. So a splash screen animation is very important to what we are doing. So once it's here, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate. All right, so this is here. I'm going to have to hide it. All right, so this can stay in the middle. So all right, fine. So once this is here, come here and off it, but make it to 0. I'm going to make it invisible. All right, perfect. So this is here, so I'm going to duplicate this again. I'm going to be duplicating a whole lot here. So once it's here, we're going to auto rotate this. Let's give it a good auto rotation. All right, so this is good. We're going to duplicate this. So when we duplicate this, please be reminded that this is a workshop, right? So when we're going to duplicate this, we're going to reduce this to smaller size. So let's make it 20 by 20. All right, so when it's 20 by 20, then we're also going to give it curve of 6. All right, so let's make it curve of 20 as well. All right, it becomes like a circle. Right, perfect. So the next one we're going to do, we're going to duplicate. So when we duplicate, we're going to adjust this guy to this level. All right, so we're also going to come with this guy. This guy is not going to come here. Perfect. So this guy is going to be here. Okay. So this guy is going to be here. But pending that, okay, instead of doing it to it, let's move this guy to this screen. All right, so let him be here. Let him be here, yes. So let's delete this. So it's here. But then what we'll do here is we're going to hide him. Though he's there, but it's hidden. All right, so once it's hidden, then we'll now duplicate. So when we duplicate, we are going to adjust this guy to a good extent. Then we'll come to this guy that is hidden and spread him. All right, so it's hidden, we'll adjust him. All right, so as it's hidden, we'll adjust him this way. Okay, so after this, we'll click again, then we duplicate. So after we duplicate, we're going to hide this guy again, and then we're going to play with this guy. All right, so once this is done, All right. Okay, so this is where we'll be. All right, so once you've been able to do this, let's reduce this. So I'm gonna prototype it here. You come over down here to prototype. So we're gonna click on this, you prototype it down to this guy here. So it will be, we're gonna be running it on after delay 200. So to be smart animate, let's give it easing 400. All right, so come down here again. So it's gonna be after delay 200 using 400. So you come to this guy. After delay 200 using 400. So you come to this guy. The same concept. So you come finally to this guy. All right. So when you've done this, so the next one I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna play. So let's play and see the interaction. All right. So I don't know. Are we with our laptops? So we can see the interaction being performed. All right. So let's wait for it to play. All right. Can we see? Okay, perfect. All right. Can we see the interaction again? So something like this runs, it goes, thank you. So this guy is giving you some kind of interaction. All right. So basically this is a splash screen animation. This is how you give a splash screen animation. All right. So if you're following, if you like what you see, react in the chat box. I want to know if a lot of us are following. If you're following, react in the chat box. React in the chat box. If you're following, react in the chat box. I know a lot of us are following. All right. Please react in the chat box if you're following. React in the chat box. I want to see more reaction, more reaction. All right. So if you understand what I just did, please react in the chat box. I want to make sure a lot of us are following this workshop and are getting value. If you understand what I just did, please react in All right. So and basically what we just basically did is a splash screen animation design. Right. So basically it's just splash screen animation design. Splash screen animation design basically is this interaction you see whenever people are doing a splash screen. All right. All right, so let's go into another interaction. Basically, let's do another interaction. So this is just splash screen animation design. So that would actually help you get the basic concept of what we are doing. All right, so I'm gonna be showing my Figma file. So let's restart this. Let's see the view. All right, the view is amazing, basically amazing, right? So this is how an animation design looks like, basically. All right, so let's do a drag button. So let's do the volume drag button. But basically, I am a UI UX design expert also, and I also train. All right, so you're looking to learn the full training of the design course. My phone number, email, and everything will be dropped in the video requirement. Reach out to me. I train at a very good affordable price. This course is a whole lot. Normally the training for this course goes to 3 to 4 months. So if you really want to go full into UI UX and become a good product designer, I'll take you the whole class and the whole training, right? And we have a channel where we train people virtual anywhere, all right, be it around the globe. I train people from Poland, from US, from UK, and all of that, right? So I'm going to take you the whole course full. You don't need to have any experience in UI UX. You don't need to have any experience in design, basically. All you need to do is have the willing heart to learn, right? So my details will be dropped on the video. Check it out, like, subscribe, and share. All right, so my details will be dropped in the video so that you can also see it. All right, so this is the splash screen animation. If you're missing out, this is the interaction. All right, so this is amazing and beautiful. Okay, which is good. All right, so we're going to be doing the drag button now. So drag button basically is like this. So how this will work is something like this. So let's do the drag button. So I'm going to have a rectangle. All right, so I'm going to come now. I want to make it white. All right, so I'm gonna pick this. All right, so please follow me. All right, so once it's here, I'm gonna duplicate, Control D. All right, so it has a color now. Let me pick this. Okay, perfect. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna put a circle. So I'm just gonna do this. All right, so once this is here, I'm gonna pick this. All right, so perfect. Okay, so let's put this like this. Okay, so I'm gonna come to this guy. Let's reduce him. All right, so something like this. So once you're done, what you do is you highlight them like this. Then you come over here, you create component. All right, so when you create component. The next thing, remember I told us what you would need to do is you add variant. So variant will give it a second body. All right, so once you come to this variant, so what we'll do is we're going to move this guy to this place. So it goes here. Then we're gonna come here, then drag this guy. All right. Okay, perfect. So once we're done, you come here, you prototype the circle itself. We're gonna be prototype it to this. So it's gonna be on drag, smart animate is in 400. So you come here, you prototype the circle to this. So it's also gonna be on drag. No, sorry, on drag. Here will be ease out 400. All right. So once we're done, all we need to do is we're gonna